Espionage. But what is espionage? The definition: the practice of spying or using of spies typically obtained by governments to obtain political and military information. Hey now, I wouldn't get too excited about the word spying. This isn't like Spy Family where you're Lord Forger and can put on cool disguises, adopt a girl that can read minds, fall in love with one of the deadliest assassins, propose to her with a grenade pin mid-gunfight, adopt a dog that can see into the future, and save penguins like in that one episode. Now that we know what espionage is, let's get straight into it. Now starting with the Cold War. August 1945, young pioneers and Soviet students gifted U.S. Ambassador W. Averell Harriman a gift. The gift was a wooden carving of the Great Seal of the United States that hung in the Spaso House for years. Might be asking, why do you act like having it hanging in the Spaso House was a bad thing? Well, this mighty fine work of art was a device used for espionage. It concealed a tiny passive listening device and was nicknamed the Thing by US intelligence. It's crazy to think that a gift was a spy device. You know what's crazier though? Using cats. I like to talk about how a group of adults agreed to use cats for espionage. I mean, hey, if Fortnite used them for espionage too, then why not? In the 1960s, the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology embarked on Project Acoustic Kitty, a top-secret effort to turn an ordinary street cat into a roaming eavesdropping device. Essentially, it was a plan to bug cats and they will freely roam the streets without raising arousal. Well, as you can tell, this plan isn't the brightest. So bad, in fact, they stopped it. And for the record, the cat they released got hit by a taxi immediately. That was a multi-million-dollar experiment that ended on its first trial. And now done with the Cold War, let's move on to modern espionage. Now, this is going to sound like a step back with all those fun ideas that we just discussed before, because they just hack now. Now, coming from an actual person that deals with actual espionage, Michael Casey. Coming from NPR News, I found an interview that featured him on modern espionage. Here are some of the things I gathered from the interview. It's just not the Russians stealing secrets from the State Department anymore. It's everybody trying to steal all sorts of intellectual property going after critical infrastructure. Just the list goes on and on. I find this weird because they're trying to steal intellectual property instead of government secrets now. It's not so much, no guy in black hat breaking into a plant and stealing tank armor out the back. It's much more of a hacking operation or hiring a scientist, which to be honest disappointed my younger self because I wanted to be a cool spy. I guess being a firefighter is still the usual foreign adversaries, he says, lead the list of concerns: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. But the other actors are increasingly getting into the game as well. That includes private sector folks and cyber criminals. One thing I noticed is that the countries he listed were enemies from the Cold War. Drawn to the conclusion, differences and similarities, different methods. Cold War used bugged gifts and bugged cats. Modern used hackers and scientists. Similar enemies. Cold War had the USSR, while modern had Russia still, but they had North Korea too from the Korean War. And with that barely being said, I'm calling the video.